Hello, beautiful people. I'm Victoria, your host, and this is Nostalgia Podcast, where music and storytelling meet. Guests come into the show with 5 of their most nostalgia tracks, and we dive into nostalgia and everything in between. On this episode, I have Victoria Jane. Welcome to the show, Victoria.
Hey, thanks for having me. Another Vic, which I love.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. And like, Jade is my middle name as well, so it's like proper, like, you're my namesake. Yeah.
That's cool. How was you named Jane after someone?
I was named Jane after someone. So it's like my great grandmother on my father's side and my great grandmother on my mother's side. So they were both called Jane, so I'm another Jane.
Yeah, mine was my great grandmother on my mum's side.
Lovely. Lovely. Just a beautiful name, if I do say so myself. Do you know what I mean? Like, very lovely name. But Victoria Jane hosts the BBC One R&B Future Soul show, where she shines a light on the UK R&B, soul and music. Alongside her show, Victoria Jane is an artist, which also makes good music for the soul, as she describes. And alongside her music and radio show, Victoria Jane also hosts Victoria Meets. Girl, you have your hands and you're spinning many plates. You're doing many things. I admire it. Absolutely admire it. So you're pretty much a Jane of all trades. So I asked all my guests this: how hard or how easy was it for you to choose those 5 songs?
It was quite hard just because, like, I'm a music lover at heart, so I listen to a lot of music. Like, growing up, my music taste varied from, like, Nickelback to, like, your Amy Winehouse to, like, London Grammar to, like, Sade or TLC. Like, it is so contrasting to take that. Like, I just love good music at the end of the day. So choosing 5 songs that kind of have helped me or shaped me is quite hard. So, I mean, these 5 songs but there are other songs as well.
Yeah, of course. Nice. Yeah, it is pretty hard to narrow down, like, your entire life down and trying to encapsulate that all into 5 songs. But I absolutely love your playlist. You have you have UK staple R&B kind of artists, which I thought was beautiful and just kind of speaks to what you do in your professional life. But yeah, I'm really excited to kind of dive in. So let's kick us off with the first song, Corinne Bailey Raye, Put Your Records On. Let's give this one a listen.
3 little birds sat on my window and they told me I don't need to worry. Summer came like cinnamon, so sweet. Little girls double dutch on the concrete. Maybe sometimes we got it wrong, but it's alright. The more things seem to change, the more they stay the same. Ooh, don't you hesitate. Girl, put your records on. Tell me your favorite song. You go ahead, let your head down. Sapphire and faded jeans.
Oh my gosh, why this song, Victoria?
Do you know what? Growing up, this song for me and Corinne Bailey Raye in general was like the first female who kind of made me believe, like, oh, I want to be her. Like, I want to be her. She's someone who looks like me. She, I was obviously growing up like mixed race in a predominantly white area in London. I feel like it was very hard to kind of look at yourself and think, why am I different? So to see someone like Corinne Bailey Raye doing something that I want to do and looking like me and talking about, put your records on, and with a afro out, like, it, to me, that just was everything. That was like a very inspiring person and very inspiring artist when I heard that first song for the first time. And I feel like as a young girl looking at the music video, for example, it's just so full of joy. And yeah, I just love that song so much. I feel like it will always be one of my favorite songs and one of the songs that really made me think like, oh, I can do this, you know, and I want to do this for people like the young version of me looking at the video of me and thinking, oh my gosh, I can be like that. So yeah, love it.
Oh, that's lovely. That's must be, yeah, it's just so inspirational to kind of just see like a woman, a mixed race woman doing her thing, like in the scene. She completely blew up. Like she just made it so big. She was nominated for Grammys, and this was like her like one of her debut, like one of her
Yeah,
songs from her debut albums. That's crazy. Like just to have be Grammy nominated, like she was so big, and she is also like the fourth female British artist in history to ever have her first debut album as number one. Like that's an incredible feat for her
that's
to be able
crazy.
to do that. Like big, 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 and that it's so important that representation to kind of like that having that representation inspires you and it shows you like, oh my gosh, it can be done. So no, like I can yeah, it's freaking amazing. I love her, absolutely
Yeah,
love her. Such a
yeah,
UK staple, and that's so lovely that you took that inspiration, you ran with it, and now you're like an artist now. So like,
yeah. If I ever
she
met
clearly did
her,
her job.
yeah, if I ever met her, I feel like I'll literally just have to tell her like, you are literally one of my biggest inspirations. That will be such
Oh,
a moment, and I know it will happen at one point. I'm just waiting for it.
100%. 100% it's gonna happen. 100%. Nah, like she is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Let's start from the beginning. Can you pinpoint a particular moment or that experience that sort of sparked your passion for you to start creating music and just kind of kickstart your career?
I feel like music such as the song we just played. Um, I think I've always just loved music, and I was singing from such a young age, just singing. Like I don't know how and why I started singing. I would just sing. Like I just loved it. It just brought me joy. I think my earliest memory of singing was probably there's two probably staple things which allowed me to grow and love singing more, which was um, being in the school choir in London. And through that, you know, I got to sing so many places, and I even performed with them at the Royal Albert Hall in London in school. So that was a memory. And then I would say singing in church and just going to church and singing. Do like I feel like one of the strongest things, one of the most powerful things to me in life is faith. And going to church growing up and singing in church for me created such a love of soul and gospel music. And I feel like that's why I love R&B and soul so much. So I would definitely say the choir in school and church for me are two of the biggest reasons I probably had a big love of singing and music generally.
Yeah. So it's sort of just kind of in you, embedded in you. You just had that innate kind of like want to kind of just sing and express
Yeah,
yourself. And I guess just being in the spaces of being in the church and just like being in the choir, it just encouraged that even more and kind of like, you know, like toned up your skills to kind of like for you to kind of like become an artist. That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. Literally, to be fair.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I guess like aside from Corinne Bailey Raye, like who are your other biggest musical inspirations?
Do you know what? It's a hard one because I feel like I literally love music so much. There's so many people, like past and present, who are inspiring music wise. Um, like we're gonna play some of them, I know. And then my friends inspire me. There's so many amazing artists in Manchester, and the UK who are just amazing at what they do, and even just listening to their music is so inspiring to me. Um, so yeah, it's hard to pinpoint certain people.
Yeah.
Um, you know, music is something that you can be inspired in so many different ways. There's so many producers that inspire me. Like when I hear a beat, like when I hear a Timberland beat or like an inflow production, like it's insane. So it makes you want to start writing or start freestyling.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, different
No, I
places.
love that. I love that. Just like being able to draw different inspiration from different places and people. Like, yeah, that's
Yeah,
amazing. And make it into like you or whatever that kind of like the inspiration kind of comes out at. That's sick. That is sick. Um, in your Instagram bio, you kind of mentioned that you make good music for the soul. So like why, you kind of explained it a little bit more, but I guess if you can go in a little bit more detail, like why particularly R&B became like that genre for you?
I feel like, do you know what? When I was starting to make music in Manchester, all the producers I knew or found were producing like grime and trap and rap sort of. No one was doing soul music. So I did actually like start out making music that wasn't really particularly very soulful. It was more like trappy, like more auto-tuney, like it was more strictly R&B.
Mm.
And I feel like that's because I didn't have any way to make the music I that comes naturally to me and the music that I love the most. So because of that, and because of I had to experiment with those other genres, I've now gravitated back to that soul and R&B because I've been able to meet the producers that I want to, that make the sort of music I want to put out. And you know what? I just naturally have always gravitated to soul and to R&B and neo soul. I just feel like there's an emotion and a feeling in the genre that you can't really get from another genre. You know, you can get, the dance is so big and people get that emotion and feeling from dance. But to me, I feel like R&B and soul is a timeless sound. So
Mm.
there might be other genres that are big and a song from that genre might go viral or pop off. But is it gonna like stand the test of time? And I feel like only R&B and soul does that, and that's why it resonates so much with me. Really.
No, I love that, and I completely agree. Like, so, just soul does something. R&B and soul just does something to the soul, and it just like that's why people are so feel so nostalgic, particularly with like R&B, and like especially like 90s R&B. They it just it captures you in a different way. Like there's just something about it. I completely agree. I
Yeah.
completely agree. And you're London born, but you're Manchester raised, and you kind of like mentioned that you were influenced by the Manchester's kind of like musical DNA. Can you just tell us a little bit more about that?
I mean, Manchester's a very creative city. People up here are very warm and very um, good at doing loads of things at the same time. Like, there's so many amazing artists up here who do so many other things, but there's so many amazing artists that really don't get like the light shone on them.
Mm.
From like artists like Masumba in Bradford who produces, mixes, masters, yeah, does everything, to like up and coming producers and DJs, to literally like artists that sound like they need to be doing a tiny desk, like the KTNA, two twin sisters from Manny. Like, there's so many artists like that are just amazing. So it's just hard not to be influenced by the people around you. Do you know what I mean?
No, I get that. I get that. Let's move on to your next song.
Oh.
So, Dwell,
Well, I pronounce
Dwele,
it Dwele.
Dwele, yeah.
I pronounce it Dwele. And I don't know if I'm wrong, because it might be
And
Dwele or something like that.
girl, I'm right
But
there with you. I'm not sure.
I feel bad because it's actually bad because you should know how to pronounce one of your favourite artist names. But I feel like it's Dwele and I'm standing by that.
Victoria, we're gonna go with Dwele. Let's go with Dwele. We've got Dwele Truth. Let's give this one a listen. Yeah, good album, really good album. Why this song?
I feel like, do you know what? That that Subject album, and just Dwele as an artist and producer, like that song he produced himself as well. And that's one of the first songs that I listened to, and I was like, this guy is like not a male Brandy, but a male Brandy in terms of like sonically how he sounds, the harmonies, the melodies, and the pockets of that song are so like done so insanely. Like it for me. I hadn't heard someone sound like that on a song. So growing up, when I heard that song in particular, then went to listen to the Subject album, like, and the other discography, like I was literally blown away. And to this day, that song for me and that album is just one of the best bodies of work ever. But that song in particularly just stood out and always will stand out to me because the lyricism is insane. There's a feeling that you get when you hear that song, which is just a feel good, like the way he uses his voice and the melodies and the groove of the beat he produced. But then when you dive into the lyrics and what he's actually saying, this guy is playing some mad games with whoever this woman is about. He's saying that he wants her, and then he's saying, will you please be my subject? Then he's telling the girl, I lied, I said you were the truth, but he doesn't want her. And then he's just like, all this, and then right at the end of the song, he's like basically saying that maybe it is fate, maybe we should actually be together. And for me, it's just crazy because you're going on this whole journey, but then the song itself is so good. There's so many amazing parts, and for me, that's what makes such a great record, because when everything, all those little bits come together, they create a great record, and you really get invested as a listener to the artist and to the story of the artist, or what the artist is trying to tell. So yeah, that's why I love that song, basically.
No, I completely hear you. Yeah, it was listening to the lyrics. Like you could just stay in the rhythm and just listen to the sound and like, oh my gosh, this is a beautiful sound. Like this is proper art, like, you know, neo soul. You can get lost in that. But like you said, when you start to really hear those lyrics, it's like, sir, like
Yeah.
make up your mind. I could feel like I was proper deep in it, like when I was making the show notes. I was like, raw, like, okay, like what are you really saying? But no, I love how he produced that you could get lost in it and just not even think about the lyrics. Like you could just think about just how beautifully well done how he done that so well in the terms of he writ it, he produced it as well. Like skills on skills on skills. It's
Honestly,
just a
if I ever
beautiful.
got to work with him,
Oh,
yeah, if I ever get to work with him, oh, he would be a dream to work with. As an artist, as a producer, that would be a big moment. That would be a big moment. Yeah.
definitely. It's, yeah, you're proper giving the 2000 R&B nostalgia. I love it. Love it. So, like, you write your own songs as well. Like, I guess, what is your writing process? Do you have any particular rituals to kind of get you in the mindset, or yeah, what does that look like?
This question is so interesting because I love asking it. But my process, I freestyle a lot. Um, so I mean, most of my songs will start off as freestyles. Sometimes the beat will be so fire. You know what? Let me not say that, because a beat can be fire and I'll freestyle. But sometimes a beat also throws me, and I'm like, wow, I actually need to take my time with this. And to be fair, I need to take more time with writing and not just freestyling. Um, but yeah, most of my writing process, I mean, when I don't freestyle and when I do try to sit down and write something, it does take a lot more time because I feel like I want to put more into it, or like throw in little pockets of things, or talk about things that kind of mean a bit more. But most of the time, like, I'm either in the studio or I'll get sent beats and I'll just write or freestyle, come up with melodies at home. I'm one of those who has so many songs they've not finished, so that's something I need to work on. But yeah, that's my writing freestyle kind of process.
Nice. And I guess it's just the process of you kind of just getting it out there. And it's a skill to even freestyle in and of itself. Like for you to just think up the dome, like just lyrics and just produce that and then put that on the track. That's skills, girl. Skills on
Yeah.
skills. Like, oh, I love that. I guess like how has your music sort of evolved since you kind of started creating? Like, what do you think has kind of influenced that evolution? I know you mentioned like you get inspired by just listening to music and different artists, but I guess what has really been that factor to kind of influence that evolution?
It's funny you say that because I was listening to some of my old music the other day and I was thinking to myself, like, I've really grown a lot. I think it's just knowing more about the sound I want to put out and sticking to that instead of what I used to do, which I still kind of have a problem, but not as much, is I used to just want to jump on any and every beat and make it work. That's
Mm.
why I think I'm good at freestyle because I would just try to do that and make it work, and then the song will sound sick. But then to me, it's not exactly the genre I want to be putting out. So I think I've definitely grown a lot more in just understanding what sound I want to put out. I think I've evolved as well because I've been able to work with the producers that I want to work with. So that's allowed me to naturally be the best I can be because it's the
Mm.
production that I want to be on. Um, and I just think, obviously, the simple answer, which is I've grown older, so I kind of just have learnt more, and there's more things to write about. My voice is matured, so I think, yeah, those ways kind of that's how kind of my sound is going to grow, really.
Nice, nice. So, like, alongside your music, you're presenting and you're doing, the BBC One show. Congrats on that. It's
Thanks.
amazing. It's sounding great. I love how you like find this extraordinary talent. Like, how do you find these people?
Do you know what? I get sent so much music, I can't listen to it all. So it's honestly like emails are overloaded. So that's the one source of music. Obviously, people send me stuff on socials, but if you listen to this and you're artist, so you want to send me music, please don't because I hate when people send me things on socials. I will forget. Emails is where I look through my emails and I will listen to the music as much as I can throughout the week. Um, yeah, I mean, I do find artists and music through socials, through me looking or just coming across it or through someone's story or whatever. But I don't actually like when people send me it on socials on a DM
Mm.
because I'll lose it. Um, so I'll find it through socials or TikTok or whatever. This is why I feel like social media is so important.
Mm.
Um, and then I mean, just going to shows. I found out about Netanya through seeing her support Flow in Manchester. I never knew of this girl before, and now she's I think one of the best emerging like upcoming artists from London in the R&B space. So gigs, shows, emails, social media, they're the main ways really. Yeah.
Nice, nice.
And my producers are the
Yeah.
key because they're the ones who also put me on. Shout out to my producer Alicia because she's always finding gems.
Love that. Love that. And you also host sort of like your Vix meet with like, and you've hosted several other shows such as like the Global Soul. Like how has like been, you're in your presenting bag. How has that been?
Yeah, I mean, shout out to John at Global Soul because I performed for one of their showcases at the Jazz Cafe a while ago when he asked me to host as well. And it's been great to host those shows. I think what Global Soul are doing for R&B and Soul in the UK, as well as so many other amazing people like the Blues Project, for example, Everything R&B, um, R and Rhythm in Britain. But Global Soul, yeah, they've let me come on board as a presenter and an artist, which I feel like is such a blessing. I started Vic Meets because I wanted to not be chained to Radio One as much as I love it and what it's done for me. I don't want to be everything to be just about the
Mm.
Radio One show because there's so much more and there's so much more that can be done that I want to do myself that I might not be allowed to do through them. Um, so through Vic Meets is just essentially me, a platform for me to put music on that I love, or artists or introduce people that follow Vic Meets to new people, to new artists, to new music. and just kind of support and champion talent that I love through music. Yeah, really. So I just started that just because I want to have another space which is not just my own profile. Um, and I would urge everyone to just kind of do something similar. If they don't want to post things on their own profile, they shouldn't be scared to just hold it back. They should just make something else and post it on there, you know.
No, definitely. Just don't gatekeep. Just share, 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 share. We need to
Yeah,
know
honestly.
all the talent that's out there. We want to tap in. We want to hear them. Yeah, just don't gatekeep, man. It's just about, amplifying those voices and amplifying the talent that is embedded in the UK, man. So much talent. So much talent. No, I love that. Okay, on to your third song, Liane Havas,
Yeah.
Lost and Found. Ooh, beautiful voice. Let's give this one a listen.
Come upstairs and I'll show you where my demons hide from you. Just look at who I have become. I'm so ashamed you were the one that made me feel the way I do. You broke me and taught me to truly hate myself. Unfold me and teach me how to be.
Such a beautiful song, yeah. Why this song?
Do you know what? Liane Havas was another key inspiration to me, music-wise, close to Corinne Bailey Raye, just because I feel like she's another artist that I came across at a young age. Like when that song came out, I was probably about 15. So coming up to my like teenage years, like, and I literally just remember hearing that song and like crying and just like feeling like, when you're a teen and you're going through it, So I feel like that song really for me was one of the first songs that I really connected to, like on that was more like a deeper level. And it was there was so much emphasis on the lyricism and the vocal ability. And it's the way that Liane really, her voice stood out so much. She had so much conviction in her vocal. And I think that song for me is one of my favourite songs because it is so emotional. And I think if you sing it right, you can really connect to every person that will hear it, even if they've not even gone through what she's talking about. So yeah, I love that song so much. And I just love Liane Havas. Like around that time I discovered her and her music, and I just think it's just so impeccable the way she makes music. So yeah.
No, definitely. Super talented. Super talented. Like another UK gem. Like proper like a neo soul-y kind of folk kind of vibe. Like her vocals are just insane. Absolutely insane. I've discovered her through a song like Forget. And then kind of later kind of discovered her other songs. But yeah, like just beautiful homegrown talent and just absolutely amazing. And so much, like you said, so much emotion in just like her vocals and like you said, conviction. And I think it's such a great way to describe it. It's just powerful, man. Like super, super powerful. Absolutely like, yeah. Thank you for bringing this on. Like I said, just UK gems, just bringing them in. I love it. I guess like you have such a unique perspective, like being an artist, a presenter on a radio host, and being like in the music scene. Like, how do you think the current music scene is compared to like the music that you grew up listening to? Are there any similarities or anything that kind of stands out?
I mean, it's very different. There's so much more music now, and there's so many more people making music now than there was before. I think it's easier to be successful in the music industry now because there's so many ways to get heard or seen. Like social media is massive. Um, the music industry in the UK when I was growing up, it was big. Obviously, it always has been big, but I feel like the like it always does those genre changes. I feel like soul and R&B has always been there. Like with Sade, you know, um, we had a lot more girl bands back in the day, like more like poppy kind of um, girl bands that were classed more as pop. Everyone was classed as pop, but they're not necessarily just pop. Um, Whereas now I think we're experiencing a lot of more R&B and a lot more hybrid genres or artists that are doing those genres coming up. It was exciting back then, and I feel like there's so much music that's nostalgia to me, like even like Rizzle kicks and stuff. You don't really have a Rizzle kicks of today's age, but I guess that's just the beautiful thing about music. Like it's always changing, but there's always going to be something great. So.
No, definitely. Rizzle Kicks was oh girl, yeah, that was a great duo, a great duo, man. There will never, yeah, like you said, there will never be another. There would never be another, and just girl bands were everywhere. They were just staples. They were just like, if there's not a girl band, if you weren't listening to a girl band on the radio, like what were you really listening to? It was just absolutely everywhere. Like, but you also got like recently had a compliment from the one and only Timberland. Like you received a nod.
Yeah.
He loved your sound. He loved your music. Like, what was that like? How was that experience? Tell me about it. You guys were on live? Were you on TikTok live?
You know what? He does this thing on TikTok where you can submit a song to listen, and he will basically, well, if he does, because there's so many people doing it, you'd be lucky. But he will basically tell you what he thinks. And this guy is so jokes. Like he will be honest and cutthroat. Some of these people, he was just telling them like, "Are you sure you want to do music?" Like, no, honestly, I rate him for being so honest to everyone, because why would you waste people's time? He's just literally being himself and telling people what he thinks. So yeah, I submitted my song and was lucky enough for him to listen to it, and yeah, I was so surprised when he did that. Like, it's such a great thing to have someone like that to even listen to your music or be nodding their head. Like, again, he's just another person, but he's done so much, and he's someone who has such knowledge of the industry and such an extensive catalogue, and is such a talented legend, really. So yeah, it's great. It's really great.
No, that's amazing. I'm sure that's like was a boost of motivation and just like,
Well,
yeah,
100%. 100%.
yeah.
Sometimes people think like artists don't really need support or people to tell you that was amazing, but it's so nice even to just have that pat on the back. I will always say like to people to encourage their friends when, or just generally people they think are good, always give them the flowers when if they think something. Like, don't just think they're gonna know that you appreciate them, because they're not always gonna know. So.
No, I agree. I completely agree. And like, I guess, else do you stay motivated? Like, and just staying inspired. Just sometimes you might have like do you have like creative slumps? Like, how do you continue to kind of like
Do you know
fuel that
what?
creativity?
Do you know what? Sometimes I have creative like, or I have periods where I'm like, oh, I just don't want to do it. But then I'll either motivate myself to do it, or I'll just do it the next day or in a few hours. Because I think as a creative, it's always going to be hard to motivate yourself when you get like that. So if you don't feel motivated, just wait till you do. Like, time is literally of the essence. So you got as much as you want, as much as you need. But I just think I motivate myself and have motivated myself to the point where I'm at now, because I know that I want to do and I want to be in the field that I'm in. And I don't want to get to a point where my parents are like old, and I'm still in the same position. So, time is there, but at the same time, it's not. So I do want to do as much as I can to make myself successful and to live my dream, because that is what we all want to do in it. So that is my motivation, really, I would say.
Yeah, and having your parents as sort of like having them as sort of like that kind of that you can see like, you know, you have your parents, you can see them and you know that they're going to be aging. You don't want them to kind of reach a certain point, and having that as sort of like a test of time or like a litmus test, so to speak,
Yeah.
is good to just have, like, because yeah, I love that. I love that. Love that. And your fourth song, Marvin Sapp.
Life is one of the biggest things in my life, and I feel like um, this song, and to be fair, Marvin Sapp's voice on this song for me makes it, like, his tone is everything. If it wasn't a gospel song, this man could sing the ABC, and you would literally be like, pull the maddest stank face. Like, his voice is one of the best voices I've heard. Um, but yeah, I think for me, this song, it just embodies everything about why faith is one of the biggest pillars in my life. Like, you know, he says, like, he's had his share of ups and downs, but basically saying that all these things will happen, but God has been there. And I think the way he sings it and the things that he says, you know, like, he started singing, he started dancing, people were laughing. You know, it just goes through everything. It's one of the biggest things about faith, and one of the biggest reasons why people believe in God is because they see his miracles in their life. And that's one of the biggest reasons why people are convinced that sometimes don't even believe in God to start with, because God changes your life. Like, and I just think the way that Marvin Sapp sings this and how it's written about the kind of testimonies that the things that he's gone through is like a testament to faith. And to me, this song is just powerful because if you're a Christian, like, you will listen to this and think back on when God has changed moments in your life, or when you've gone through these lows and you've come out fine. Like, so it's just a very powerful song to me. And it always makes, when I listen to it, I always kind of think about how I need to make sure my own music is powerful and is cutting through in ways like this, basically. So yeah, love it.
No. Nice. Definitely a beautiful song, a beautiful. Yeah, I completely agree. His vocals were absolutely amazing. The tone, just again, and I was saying, like, I'm not really quite familiar with like gospel music, but it cuts through. It just cuts through, and it just, like, his message is very clear. It just makes you feel good. It makes you feel like, yeah, you feel motivated. You feel like, yeah, this testimony, this song is giving what it's supposed to be giving, and it's doing
Yeah,
what it's supposed to be doing. It just, like, yeah, it definitely spoke to me, and I can see and hear the faith that you have, and just how much that plays such a pivotal, like, part in your life, and the fact that you even brought it onto the show and just put it in your playlist. Like, you're giving us R&B, you're giving us like your UK kind of like staples, and then to bring in a gospel song, like, yeah, it's just fleshing you out as a person, and how that still plays a pivotal, like, your faith plays a pivotal part in your life and
yeah.
in everything that you do. Like, I think that's beautiful. I love
Oh,
that. How do you feel music impacts our emotions and our memories?
music is one of the biggest. Like, I think music is such a key thing in a lot of people's lives, and music can symbolize so many key memories or moments or feeling. And music can really, if it's done well, create that lasting effect that you'll remember for a long time. So music has a very big impact on a lot of people, especially if it's done in the right way. At the same time, music can, evoke bad memories or bad things or bad feelings. So music is just very powerful. Words are words, but I think when you hear something, it can last a lot longer.
Yeah, and when words are kind of paired with like beautiful melodies or instruments or just beautiful sounds in general, it
Yeah.
hits just differently, and it just kind of like it kind of drives it home. And Victoria, you brought on your own song, which is going to be featured in your EP.
Yeah.
That is going to be dropping on the 23rd of Feb. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to play my own song because I guess it would feel weird to not. But this song for me is one of like my favorite songs I've done. It's all about actions being so much more powerful than words. And whether you take from it, in a relationship sense or in a friendship sense or even in a religious sense, like I feel like the song is just about wanting someone to or wanting that person to prove it. And a lot of people go through doubt in so many different situations. So this song kind of like embodies and talks about a lot of stuff around that. But it's a very soulful song. It's a very, very soulful song, and it was produced by a guy who actually is first and foremost an engineer, sick engineer too. He's called Rob, and yeah, he obviously produces as well. He's produced this whole EP, but this is the lead song from it.
Nice. Let's give this one a listen.
If you can be there for me, show me that you got it, baby. I know you said what I need. You to really prove it to me, yeah. Me, yeah. You to really prove it to me, yeah. Me, yeah. Been so many places, seen so many faces. I've been through lovers, man, I have suffered. So
Victoria, the vocals, girl, the vocals. Nah, that is beautiful. Very soul-y, very
Yeah.
smooth. Like, yeah, the production on that is sick. It's just, it feels like Sunday morning, like just smooth. It just feels so, I'm excited for the EP. I'm excited to hear the rest of it. That was so, so good. Like, yeah, I'm excited to it. Like, what else can we expect? We can expect a little bit more of that, or what kind of direction are you kind of going with the
I
EP?
mean, there's 3 tracks on the EP, all very different. And then after that, I've got not long after I should have a song coming out on another project, which is going to be amazing. That's going to be on Vibba's projects, so that's something to look forward to. I'm performing at Cross the Tracks Festival in London.
Yeah.
That'll be amazing. And then I hopefully a lot more shows over the summer, more music, and another EP after that. Which hopefully I'll do my own show in London, so you'll have to come
100%, 100%.
my way up to doing that. So yeah,
No, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. And I guess what themes, like what theme? Because I know you kind of spoke about like the story behind like Prove It and kind of what you was kind of portraying in that music. But what are your kind of core themes that you are kind of like trying to get across in your music?
I just want maybe like love, positivity, feeling, and identity as well. I kind of tried to put bits of my identity in there, like I try to always, if I can, mention like faith or God or religion, or I try to kind of mention. So there's another song on the EP that I kind of talk about, um, aunties cussing all the time. So like it's just like bits of stuff like that. So yeah, I think they're the themes really.
Nice. Just yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Just I guess a bit of everything and a bit of you, and you just kind of bring that across into your music.
Yeah, but over everything, just soul and just that feeling that you get when you hear it. Yeah.
Yeah. You'll definitely give us that feel good vibes. Like just from that one song, the feel good is coming through, girl. It is
Oh, thank you
definitely
so much.
coming through. And congrats on like cross the tracks and yeah,
Oh yeah, I'm so
all your
excited.
other yeah, that's amazing. Like that should be really good. I'm hoping to be down there as well, and I hope like the listeners and your followers definitely make it down there because that would be really exciting. Like against Erica Badu, girl, like big,
Yeah,
big, big, big.
crazy. She's another. I was gonna include her, but I thought, you know what? It's too hard to choose between her and then Sade. There's just so many. So I just,
Yeah,
but hopefully, like I kind of want to meet her, but I feel like it's intense when you meet people like that you looked up to, kind of. So we'll see.
we'll see. Yeah, make sure you take a picture when if you do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
I
the
will.
one
Don't
and
worry.
only Erica, the one and only Erica, girl.
Yeah.
Nah, that would be amazing. Sounds like so much good stuff are coming up. Like again, your show is on BBC One is going well, really well, and Vic Meets excited to see that. I really admire the fact that you really wanted to do something that was independent and aside from your radio show, and that's amazing and admirable to
Yeah,
see. And I could
one thing.
wish its continual success.
Well, one thing I am doing with Vic Meets, which I'm working on, is another series of workshops up north with a charity called Brighter Sound, to do with like songwriting and freestyling. The first one went so well, but we only did 3 sessions, so this one is going to be double the amount of time and length. So that's what I'm working on. If people want to look out for that, if you're based up north. But yeah, it's all. I mean, I'm doing my best. Like I'm getting by doing what I love, so that's the main thing to me. Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely. And I guess like just to wrap it up, girl, how do you find the energy to be doing it all? Because you do it all. You do it all. It's admirable. It's commendable. Where do you find like the strength and the motivation to just do it all?
And it's so nice that you say that. But you know what? I just like it's sometimes confusing being doing loads of different things because people will think you can't. But I just want to kind of make a statement to say that you can. And you know what? It's not always going to be money. Like I will be in and out of my overdraft all the time. But it's just like if you're doing something that you love, you're gonna fight to keep doing that. And it's like going back to what I said. Like I don't want to be get my parents and stuff to getting old, and I'm still in the same position. So if I don't do anything, I'm not going to be able to change anything. So it's just like, yeah. I mean, it's just my own self motivation, really. I don't want to be complacent or in the same position in a year or two from now. I want to grow by a bit all the time. So yeah, I love all of the things I do, and there's so many more things I want to do. Like I've always wanted to act. So my next thing that I need to
Oh
look into is like
wow.
how do I start getting into the acting field. So it's like I love making my own clothes. A lot of people know and don't know that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm just a very creative person overall. But yeah, so. Yeah.
No, that's amazing. That's amazing. Make your own clothes, like get into acting. Victoria, the work rate is, girl, I admire it. And I
Thank
would want to
you.
take a leaf out of your book. I completely admire it.
Oh,
And like more success to you. And I'm definitely going to be following your journey and seeing where you grow and continue to go. And yeah, I'm excited to hear your EP, excited to see you across the tracks and just, yeah, to see how you continue to grow, girl. It is amazing
thank
to
you so
see
much.
and more support to you, girl. More support to you. And yeah, I
Oh,
will
thank
definitely be
you.
plugging. Sorry, what was you going to say?
No, I said, oh, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'll be definitely plugging all your bits down below where we can find you. And yeah, and definitely put your link out to your EP because it will definitely be dropping by the time this is out. So no, Victoria, I really, really appreciate your time and just taking the time to speak to me about yourself. And your music and just the work that you're doing. And yeah, nah, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Very welcome. You're very welcome. And beautiful people, I'm sure you'll be hearing from me very soon. Bye.